Alright, Clashers, this is the D here with another one, and you're looking at it. We had a defeat. This clan was pretty good. I will say we had an off day, and I'm just going to take a moment here and say, you know, this is going to be a different war recap. I'm going to be showing some different stuff. I've already kind of spoke about it. I'm going to be showing some things that went wrong. And then, because we only have one cleanup, I'm going to show you how one went right and what I would have done differently than the others. But here's what I'm going to say. We're going to start seeing more and more of these wars. Granted, we're still going to have a bunch of go wipe clans we're going to go up against. We'll probably beat a lot of those, but it is going to become difficult. We're in a transition period. Town Hall 9s, you need to be watching these videos and learning how to do a kill squad. You have to start planning it out to the nth degree. Okay, Town Hall 9 attacks are more complicated, and like I say, we're gonna have a ton of times where we're gonna face off on people who have their queens on the outside, or just have weak bases just set up really badly. But I don't want you to focus on those. I want you to focus on the tougher bases. You know, once we clean those easy bases up, if you got an attack left, hit something that's difficult. Learn how to do a kill squad. It's very, very important. And hopefully, you know, with this new style that I'm going to start, and we're probably going to do a lot of cleanup videos. That might just be the new way we do this from here on out, or for a long time. Try and see what I'm going for with these. And if you have questions, you need to ask. So anyway, going to jump right. And one thing also, I'm not trying to pick on anybody with this. Okay. In fact, the first one you're going to see is me failing an attack and how Mac cleaned it up. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm trying to show you how to get better, where things went wrong, and the thinking that goes behind when I come up with an attack plan, or when Mac does, or when you do. So anyway, we're going to jump right in here. Let me find my attack. Let me find it. Here it is. Got a 1-star on this bad boy. So before I start, my plan is to come in here, because wall breakers aren't going to do me any good here. In fact, Mac uses them, and I feel it was kind of a troop space waste. He took it out, but whatever. The jump is going to get me through both these walls and then not get me anywhere else. So there's no point in the wall breakers because it doesn't gain me anything. But I'm going to start out, I'm going to drop my golems down, and then I'm going to drop a couple of wizards to create a funnel. Kind of take this building out, and I think this one and this one. That way, when I drop my king and queen, and then my witches, they're going to go straight up the middle. They're not going to go to the side. Anyway, and then my plan was to surgical everything. And it didn't go well. Honestly, I probably should have just lured on this one. Mac nor I did, and actually Mac got really lucky on his because the drag never went down to the very, very end. So I have no idea how he did it, but let's watch this one, and then we're going to see how Mac ended up cleaning it up. So again, drop my golems down and start creating my funnel. And that's super important, guys. Very much akin to how we do it with drags. You have to create that funnel, or you're going to have your king walk. So start to blow, but you want to leave those ones in the middle so that your king has something to beat on for a second while you finish it, and then he has a trail of breadcrumbs to take him to that middle. And then here's my king. He's aggroing on the queen. Just a second, it's going to pull out the CC troops. I drop my witches, and I think honestly right here, one of the biggest mistakes I made was I held back 5 wizards. Now look, I was holding them because it's a spread out base. I thought I was going to need them. Honestly, if I dropped a few more, they might have gotten in there and taken out the CC, because the queen never really engaged the CC troops. And what you're going to see is, watch this, they start hitting my golems, and that is the end. And I've seen this a lot. People kind of sacrifice a golem, or sacrifice most of their golems to the CC troops, and that's not good, guys, because I needed those golems to live, because you see they're getting hit by the expos right now. Now, if I take that dragon out and my golems are still alive, my hogs have a chance. You see right now my hogs are barely getting hit, but once those last golems go down, they get out of range, all my CC troops get murdered by the expos, my hogs start getting hit by the expos, and it's over. I'm going to just speed up here because it's not pretty from here on out. I got my hogs in there, trying to hold a heal back, hoping maybe they would live long enough, but yeah, I really needed my hogs to kind of go into the core and drop a heal in there, and it just didn't work. I probably should have used that last heal before they all died. went into the core. Maybe I could have wiped that out, but it just didn't happen. Anyway, so we're going to move to seeing Mac do it. And again, he's very, very similar. He uses witches kind of to create the funnel, which I didn't like. And again, he uses the wall breakers. Again, no net. I think Mac probably realized it too when he did it. Like, it just didn't gain him anything. Anyway, witches were already down. They're running around blowing stuff up. But he created a funnel. He did it a little differently from me, but it worked the same way. He got the queen down. He still got his golem alive there. One of them is in golemites. And you know what? Mac might, no, he did use another one. But one of them, kind of, I would say kind of lucky for him. One of the golems didn't go up to the middle. It went over to the left side here. And that was the difference. You see the golem's over here tanking like crazy while his queen's doing damage. And that made a big difference. Plus, I will say he didn't go with surgical. And that was probably a mistake for me on my part. I didn't get enough benefit out of my heals. And they just didn't go into the core, which is where all that damage was. And that's really what ended up destroying me, is I got everything else, it just didn't get to the core. Still working on surgical, honestly. But it's crazy that that dragon's still alive, and it's going to stay alive. I mean, it dies at the very last moment, basically. There's a couple buildings left, but he ends up taking it down. Mostly there, I want you guys to see how we do the CC kill, and not just that, but the kill squad in general, how we create a funnel there, because that was the same, and that part is the part that worked out. Honestly, on mine, I probably should have just done a lore, because the range of the CC castle was too deep. We're going to move on to Johan hitting 4. I'm going to show you what he did, and then what I would have done differently. So he comes in, and that happens. Gets the lore, and he drops a wizard over here. And I'm cool with dropping a wizard on a high HP one there. Normally I'd say like, oh, drop an archer instead, don't waste it. But that's a high HP building. You kind of want it to go down so they can get undistracted and start hitting the drag. So he got his lore down, but look at this. He's already dropped his golem, and his golem is going to be golemites before they take out the balloons. And he never used his heal or his poison on it. But look at that, his golem's already golemites. And this one, he dropped it in here, and it's getting killed. He had wall breakers, weren't going to get him a huge benefit because you didn't necessarily need to be in the core of this base. Like the way it wraps around like that, they're going to be walking around taking damage anyway. So again, a little bit of wasted troop space there. He did create a funnel and got his king to the core, so that's good. But he spent a lot. Like, he has no golems left. And like, if those golems had been alive and gotten in there, they might have taken that bomb out before the hogs hit it. He might not have had to use that heal quite like he did there. And you see what I mean? It just didn't get very much value for 60 troop space. Plus, look, his witches are dead. All those wizards are dead. His queen's still alive and his king's still alive, but they're really not doing anything right now. Whereas if the golems were alive and weren't getting hit, he'd still have his ability. The queen would be wrecking stuff. These hogs here probably wouldn't be getting hit right now. There's a lot of things that would have went differently. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to screenshot this base and kind of show you what I would do differently on this base. Sorry, I had some dust on the screen. So screenshot here. What I probably would have done, I would have went in. I wouldn't even have lured, because that thing is really close. I would have just dropped golem here, and probably a golem here. Maybe even have dropped like a wizard before I even did that. Maybe drop like a wizard here to take out this building, and then move over. And I think those things were out of range of that archer tower. I might have done that. Maybe dropped one golem here, and then quickly dropped like 2 wizards here to take out this building. And so that leaves this trash in the middle. I would have dropped my queen down, dropped maybe another wizard right here, and then if this gold storage was down, probably drop my king right here too, and then just drop a jump right here. What that's going to do is send everything in the middle. Now, as I'm creating, I wouldn't have done all that immediately. I would have let the funnel develop before I start dropping all these troops. Again, if I can get these buildings for free without, if everything's out of range, I'm going to take that stuff first, then drop my golems down. And once I get my golems going, as the funnel's still being created, I might have sent a hog in to go ahead and get that lore, because that, it's on the edge. You got to send something in to get it. So send a hog in, send a hog in like right here, get that lore coming out. That way everything's moving here, and I can drop my queen. Everything's going to aggro a little faster is what I'm getting at, if it's already coming out. And who knows, maybe the hog does a little bit of damage. That's kind of nice. Everything's going to be tanked for because of the golems. But by doing that, and of course, I definitely would have used my poison on those troops as well. But by doing that, my queen's going to move up to this, start taking this stuff out, take out the CC. I'm going to have some wizards too. You could have brought witches for this. I'm not against witches. You could. I don't know that you necessarily need them if you bring in the golems, and it gives you some more wizards. Wizards are pretty good too. But again, kind of open, so I'm down with it. There's no wizards on the edges, so that's fine with me. Just kind of matter of style there. The witches are good because it would kind of swarm the queen, so that would be the reason you do it. But that would be how I did it. And then as far as like hogs, it just kind of depends on how everything goes. But I'd probably, it's hard for me to say because he did this as a first attack and didn't quite, well, it wasn't a first attack, but we didn't know where the bombs were exactly. Obviously, there were double giant bomb possibilities there. That was the only double giant bomb spot, so I'm going to be kind of worried about that spot. Maybe you count right here. You could have it there, but that doesn't make as much sense as over here. You could have one right here, but I think that was it. So yeah, with it being here, I might have sent in a few here to see if there was a bomb there. That part there I'm not going to go into. I'm really just focusing on kill squad because that seems to be the thing we're having the toughest time with. It's the most important thing, and honestly, how you send your hogs is no different from how you do it in Town Hall 8. But anyway, we're going to back out of this. I'm probably going to have to discard that, log back into Clash of Clans here. Then the next one I want to watch is Trent hitting number 5. So let's go ahead and just jump in and watch it. So what Trent's going to do is he's going to send his golems in right there. He does create a good funnel. Look at this. He does a good job of creating the funnel. He gets rid of those trash buildings that could lead the king over to the side because he knows he wants to come up the middle and hit the queen. So he does a good job there. We'll say, at this point right here, I've probably already, you want to already have your queen down because the queen's going to, at this point you've already started creating that funnel. Get the queen down already. Start working on all this trash. And then once the queen's down and this campsite's dead, drop that jump where he's going to drop it. Because you've already created the funnel. The king's going to go up there. Waits just a little long. Could have waited a moment. He's dropped the jump already. I'd already have the king down. I think he was waiting to clear those last 2 trash buildings, so I'm not against that. But I would have had to drop the queen down first. She'd have helped clean those out a little faster. Just a little tip to get it going a little faster. You know what I'm saying? That time matters on these bases. But it's, again, created a funnel great. Got him in there. Unfortunately, the CC troops end up wrecking his king and his golems. There's way too much high HP trash in the way for that Ingress for them to get at all that stuff. And because they came in late, they got to lock onto his tanks, and now his tanks are all dead. He's going to go in. He's going to do a surgical, which I'm not against. I mean, surgical is hard, guys, but it's good. It obviously works really well, but you just got to get good at it. But I think you committed to the surgical a little too much. And what ends up happening is he comes in from all 3 sides here, uses all his heals on the sides, and that huge core with all the Teslas and the Expos just destroys him. And personally, if I was going to do it, I might have just done it on this side here, and this side here. I'm not saying it was necessarily the way to go. And then just kind of sent stuff in the middle. That way you could have used a heal in the core, and that would have made a big difference. But honestly, like, you really needed your tanks to stay alive is what it ended up being. That's one thing about surgical, is you need those tanks to live and distract them so that your your hogs have time to kill everything. But anyway, it's done. We're gonna jump out of this. I'm gonna show you what I probably would have done. What would have been my advice on it. So let's go ahead and screen write this again. All right. So again, Trent came in this way to get to the queen, right? Just slight difference. We ended up seeing that there were double giant bombs right here. Okay. Now here's the thing. There's a place for double giant bombs there inside the base. There's a place here and there's a place here. Okay. I can't remember, and there's a place here. But honestly, with all this stuff in the core, could have been bombs there. This is a base where there could have been bombs there, but a lot of times they're going to put their Teslas in the core. That's just, something that people tend to do. So unless you know otherwise from a previous attack, just assume that is how I look at it. Those spaces in the core are usually like Tesla farms of some sort. So here's what I would have done. I would have actually done a lure on this one because that CC is so deep. I'm going to send like 4 hogs, maybe a giant and 3 hogs, and I'm going to take this guy out. They're going to come in here. They're going to get my lure, and they're going to eliminate a double giant bomb spot. Now, that doesn't mean there's double giant bombs there. There weren't, but now you know there aren't when you send it in. So when you're thinking about your pathing for the rest of the raid, you know there are no double giant bombs there. There might be a bomb if you don't take this out and you don't get here, but generally you know that there's no bombs there. So you've eliminated a double giant bomb spot. Now there's really only 2, technically 4. The next thing I'm going to do, now that lure is done, I'm gonna quickly drop my golems, 2 golems here, drop my wizards, 2 wizards here, 2 wizards here, and then I'm gonna drop my queen and my king. My king's going to go ahead and get here. If I've dropped those first, 2 wizards going to take this out super fast. They're going to move in. They're going to take this out super fast. They'll probably move up and take this. Now look, might have to look at the range on this just to be sure, because this cannon right here might cause a problem for these wizards if they move up. But this archer tower is going to be targeting these golems. This one obviously will be. This cannon will be. Wiz tower might even be. I think this archer tower might not, but honestly, it's out of range of anything that matters, so it doesn't really matter if it isn't. But if this building's down, everything's going to go to the middle. I'm going to drop a jump here. A jump is going to cover a 4-space section like that, and I don't want the jump to bleed in over here or over here. I want everything to go this way into the base. Okay. So anyway, let me clear all this out just real fast. So, I've got my jump here, right? This is down, this is down, this is down. All this is getting killed. Golems are in this section here. By this point, the king has already come in and taken this out. Also, I would have dropped some wizards behind and would have had my poison for the CC. Obviously, my CC was out for my lore. So I would have had that ready too. And because they're already moving in, my queen, those wizards are going to go ahead and aggro again. And this is a base, again, if you wanted to bring witches, you can bring witches, because this is a big core with a bunch of stuff in it. So I'm not going to say no to that. It's a little dangerous with a whiz tower here and a mortar here, but you could do that. But, essentially the CC kill's done with this. Queen's done. Yeah, my golems have probably taken a bunch of damage, but there's probably still alive. At least have some golemites. And my CC kill would have taken out all of this right here. Queen, with all of this, probably would have taken this out if I dropped her over on this side. Maybe even would have gotten this HP, high HP defense. But everything's moving in and going into the core. So that's going to be a high value kill squad. And the big thing is, once that CC is dead and the queen is engaged, she doesn't have to be dead, she has to be engaged. That's when you need to be moving with your hogs. Probably what I would do, because this arch tower might not even be dead at that point if she started engaging CC true, the queen has. I'm going to send some in. I'm going to send at least a few hogs in here and here. Probably like 3 and 2 or something like that. You're not going to need a ton because, again, this Archer Tower, if it's still alive, is still going to be hitting your tanks. Honestly, you might be able to send it in with while the CC kill's still going. And then these guys are going to move in this way here. Maybe over this way. Yeah, probably over to this way. And then I'm probably just going to go ahead and send a 2-finger drop just like that. Maybe I save a couple for up here, but that's going to be it, because if I do that, boom, 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 they're going to be moving in through this core. There's Teslas all in here. I'm going to be using heals right in this area probably, and then maybe another heal up here. Again, if I'm doing this the right way, more than likely all of this is dead at this point. Sorry, it's getting really cluttered. But all of that's dead, so my hogs are moving this way, just moving around the path of the base, and everything's dead. And it's just that, like, understand the main difference. I'm not even telling you to bring different troops from what Trent did. All I'm telling you to do is, instead of attacking up this way, attack up this way. You know, and that, I think, would have made a huge difference. I'm not saying it would have won. Obviously, there's no way to tell. I'd love to have an attack back. I wish I didn't make my first attack, so I could have done this myself and made this video. But I think that little difference, and you know, I picked this side because there is a double giant bomb spot, but I would have went that way anyway. I don't think maybe I go this way. You know. You could have done that, but honestly, looking at the base, the way the queen was, where everything was, that's probably the way I'm going in. And if it was a cleanup attack, I definitely am going in that way. So, but those are the little tweaks there, guys. I'm gonna have more of these videos coming out. I hope you guys are learning from them. If there's something else you want to see, something I'm not saying, something you need help with, let me know. I'll try and get it out. But anyway, this has been the D from MRder Inc. Keep going for 3 stars, guys.